the home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads.
As you guys and gals may have already seen in the community section of our channel, The Outlaw of College Football, I said that I'm probably going to be taking off about a week or so. I will be back, so don't fret. Don't think I've shut the channel down or anything. I'll be back to grilling asses that deserve to be grilled in about a week or so. But today's podcast, I want to go ahead and do this one last podcast to give y'all a little something before I go off into the sunset for about a week. And we're going to talk about Dillon Gabriel picking his team, which ended up being the Oregon Ducks, and how it might come back to maybe it might come back to home Oklahoma a little bit. Who knows? Also, I want to talk about a CBS Sports article I saw on Jayden Daniels and a straw poll and the fact that he may, in fact, have already got this Heisman Trophy sewn up. Let's talk about it. Woo! Well, here we go again. It's another episode of the Outlaw of College Football. And here they come once again right on in. It's the Outlaw Posse, now in effect. And today's four horsemen shout-outs go to James, Justin Goss, Nelly Martin, and the Gov are mounted up and saddled up, and they're ready to go to help us with today's college football invasion. We also have a brand new posse member. Robert Brownfield has just joined, and he is now deputized, and he's ready to go, and he may get him a four horseman shout-out in the future, as well as possibly be the comment of the day, which will come later in the program. I can also be reached on Twitter at OCF Productions. Now, getting right to it here, seems like Jayden Daniels in a straw poll. We'll start off with that first and save the good stuff for last. Seems like in a straw poll here, and I'll bring this up for you guys and gals. Seems like Jayden Daniels may be have this thing already sewn up somewhat from what they're saying here. Let's see here. Bring it up for you guys and gals. There it is. It says any suspense over the 2023 Heisman Trophy winner should be left in the dust, sort of like Jayden Daniels did to Defenders. LSU's star quarterback will become the latest Heisman Trophy winner based on a straw poll of Heisman voters conducted by CBS Sports. Daniels was listed by all 20 Heisman voters who were granted anonymity in exchange for their ballots, which include room for 3 top choices. He received 14 first-place votes of those 20 ballots that were polled. Washington quarterback Michael Penix finished second, with Oregon quarterback Bo Nix in third, while Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. was a distant fourth. By the way, he shouldn't even been invited to the ceremony, in my opinion. Daniels became the first player to throw for 12,000 yards and rush for at least 3,000 yards in his career. The Tigers quarterback found himself after joining LSU from Arizona State. He leads the country in yards per pass, 11.7, and passer rating of 208. So pretty good stuff from Jayden Daniels. And I told my boy Jonathan Lewis and a few others, Killer Breeze, Kuz, I told all of them that I thought Jayden Daniels was going to win the Heisman Trophy. And like I said, that's just a straw poll of 20 voters, so it's not set in stone, but it looks like Jayden Daniels may indeed win it. And a lot of people like to bring up the fact that he's lost 3 or 4 games or whatever it is. I think it's 3 games that they've lost this year at LSU, and that's a reason why he won't win it. When we've had numerous other players act like it's never happened before, that argument is invalid. A lot of players have won it with multiple losses. Going back to Tim Tebow in the early 2000s, he won it with like 3 losses the first time he won the Heisman Trophy. As well as even here more recently, Lamar Jackson had multiple losses with Louisville. So that in itself shouldn't keep him out. And argument that my boy Jonathan Lewis made. I got to thinking about it, and I don't really agree with the argument he made that why Jayden Daniels should not win the Heisman Trophy. He said that without Jayden Daniels, LSU would still win the same amount of games. I disagree with that. I got to looking at it and got to thinking about it. Their backup quarterbacks ain't that great. So, in my opinion, Jonathan is wrong about that. I think that LSU would be an entirely different team, and I think they would have lost probably maybe 4, maybe even 5 ball games this year without Jayden Daniels. It would have made at least a 2-game difference, in my opinion. I'll just go ahead and say they would have lost about 5 games this year. But now for the juicy part. Seems like old Dillon Gabriel has made his decision. He's going to Oregon. And, I would have said that, this was a nice little parting of ways for Oklahoma and Dillon. And a lot of Oklahoma people are very fond of Dillon Gabriel, and they appreciate what he done. But there's a segment of the fan base that's been wanting him pushed out ever since Jackson Arnold signed that letter of intent. And just be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. The next year, Jackson Arnold's going to have some growing pains, absolutely. Whether y'all want to see that coming or not, it's going to happen. He may come in, he may be gangbusters. He may be the next Johnny Manziel. I don't know. I may be wrong. But from what I've seen throughout history, he may struggle just a little bit, especially in the first 4 or 5 ball games. We shall see. But my thing is, if Dillon Gabriel had went to somewhere like Mississippi State, which a lot of people thought he would naturally because that's where Jeff Lebby went. Jeff Lebby coached him at Central Florida and at Oklahoma. I don't think he would have been much of a threat to y'all. But him being at Oregon, and Oregon was on the cusp of making the playoffs last year with another forced-out type quarterback, in Bo Nix, who was a legacy at Auburn and was sort of forced out at Auburn. And they turned Bo Nix's career around at Oregon. And that might happen for Dillon Gabriel. He's had over 14,000 yards passing. Let me bring something up real quick for you guys and gals. Forgot to share this with y'all. Here it is. Former Oklahoma star quarterback Dillon Gabriel continues his college football career at Oregon after entering the transfer portal earlier this week. He will succeed Bo Nix, who is a Heisman Trophy finalist. As you scroll down here, it says Gabriel had a career year with Oklahoma in 2023, completing 69.3% of his passes. That's pretty damn good. That's almost 70%. Says here he rushed for 373 yards and another 12 scores. He passed for 3,660 yards with 30 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. Pretty good. And you scroll on down here, Gabriel also posted 3,000-yard passing games 4 times in his career, including both years at Oklahoma. He also passed for over 14,000 yards in his career. That's amazing. And what's even more amazing than that is the fact that some Oklahoma fans didn't like him. They wanted him out. Get your wish, he's out. My thing is, I know the argument is that, you're in a rock and a hard spot here, that if he stays, Jackson Arnold may contemplate transferring. But if you go on that alone and you continue to coach and build your program based on whose feelings you might hurt, sometimes that can backfire on you. Sometimes it don't. With Alabama and Tua Tagovailoa, he come in and took over for Jalen Hurts in the national title game, won the national championship. But the next following year, he didn't win the national championship. Matter of fact, they got blew out by Clemson in the national championship game. So I think that where Dillon Gabriel went could pose an issue and a problem for Oklahoma. In the fact that if Oklahoma makes the playoffs next year, and with there being 12 spots now, it's more than likely that Oklahoma will return to the playoffs next year, in my opinion. You might see Oklahoma and Oregon face each other. How are you guys and gals with Sooner Nation going to feel if Dillon Gabriel has a breakout year? I mean, he's already had a couple of breakout years already, but what if he has another great year? He's a Heisman Trophy finalist like Bo Nix, who everybody thought was washed up, and he beats Oklahoma in a playoff game. It's like the whole Arsenio Hall thing, right? Things that make you go, Well, you guys and gals, tell me what you think about all this. Think Jayden Daniels is going to win the Heisman Trophy? Who do you think is going to win the Heisman Trophy? Do you think that Dillon Gabriel going to Oregon from Oklahoma might come back to haunt y'all a little bit? Or does it not matter to y'all? Do y'all wish him the best of luck, even if it means possibly beating Oklahoma in the playoffs? I think y'all might wish him good luck as far as having a decent career and going on to the NFL. But as far as him being in the playoffs, I don't think y'all want to see that matchup. I would, if I was an Oklahoma fan, I would not want Oklahoma to play Oregon in a playoff game because Dillon Gabriel would absolutely have the most motivation to win that game. That's all I got to say about that. As I said before, I'm going to take a 1 week sabbatical. Let me give y'all the comment of the day real quick. Bring that up for y'all. The comment of the day goes to Mike Happy. He says, championship or not, FSU will beat Georgia. We will see it in the Orange Bowl. And that is the comment of the day. I guess we will. I guess we shall see. The I Don't Belong Bowl. We're going to find out who really didn't belong. With that, I'm getting up out of here. There's a little heart down here. If you don't mind, it's a little heart with a dollar sign in the middle. Make a one-time donation to the program if you want to. Or you can join the Outlaw Posse like Robert Brownfield did today and get your badge and get deputized and possibly be the comment of the day like Mike Happy was and get your random 4 horsemen shout out like those 4 guys and gals did earlier today. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.